Rome proved it. The men who ruled half the known world were not ruled by comfort, they were ruled by structure. And here is the paradox that unsettled me. The richer Rome became, the harsher its elite trained themselves. Not softer, not indulgent. Harsher. So I tried it. Not the marble villas, not the banquets, not the gold cups. I tried the discipline beneath them, and poor habits did not survive. Walk with me through the ruins. Stand inside the Roman Forum at dawn. The stones are cracked. The arches stand wounded but upright. Power once lived here. Decisions that shaped continents were whispered between columns. Rome did not rise on convenience, it rose on control. We think of rich Romans reclining on couches, feeding grapes to excess. That was decadence at the end. But the architects of Roman power lived differently. Cato the Younger slept on hard beds. Seneca practiced voluntary poverty. And Marcus Aurelius ruled the empire and still rose before sunrise to train his mind. Their wealth did not come from indulgence, it came from restraint. The more convenient life becomes, the worse your financial future becomes. Because convenience dulls vigilance, and vigilance builds arete. So I began where they began. Morning. No phone, no indulgence, no softness. Before the sun rose, I sat in silence. The Romans called it disciplina, mental rehearsal. I asked myself, what could go wrong today? What would I lose? What insult might I endure? What failure might visit me? Not dramatically, calmly. Because the Roman elite believed something modern society hides. If you prepare for discomfort, comfort cannot enslave you. Let me ask you something difficult. When you wake up, who commands your first hour? You or your notifications? Do you rise deliberately or reactively? The Roman patrician would review his obligations before he spoke to anyone. He would measure his duties. He would anticipate resistance. He would steel himself. Because power requires composure. Composure requires rehearsal. I noticed something within a week. When you remove convenience from the morning, clarity increases. No scrolling, no immediate stimulation, just thought. And thought exposes weakness. My impatience surfaced. My dependence on ease surfaced. My hunger for distraction surfaced. Poor habits do not survive inspection, they survive avoidance. Rome trained inspection into daily life, even the wealthy, especially the wealthy. Let me press you. If someone audited your first 2 hours each day, what would they conclude about your trajectory? Would they see architecture or erosion? The Roman elite did not worship wealth. They worshipped control. Control of appetite, control of emotion, control of time. Because wealth without control collapses into indulgence. Indulgence leads to decay. Decay leads to decline. History is not mysterious, it is cyclical. I removed small comforts deliberately, cold showers instead of warm indulgence, simple meals instead of excess, walking instead of convenience, not to suffer theatrically, but to test myself. If a Roman senator could command legions yet sleep on a hard surface occasionally, what excuse did I have? Here is what happened. My cravings screamed at first, my mind resisted. It argued for ease, but resistance builds strength, the body adapts, the mind stabilizes, the will sharpens. Comfort had made me weaker than I realized, and weakness hides beneath convenience. Let me ask you plainly, what indulgence controls you? Is it food? Is it entertainment? Is it approval? If it vanished tomorrow, would your stability collapse? The rich Romans practiced something that shocks modern ears. Voluntary hardship. A Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in the empire, would periodically live as if poor. He would wear simple clothes, eat basic food, sleep without luxury, and ask himself, is this what I feared? He trained himself to see that poverty was survivable, so wealth did not control him. Imagine that, the wealthy practicing scarcity. Today, scarcity terrifies the comfortable. Because we have not rehearsed it, we have avoided it. Let me ask you, have you ever practiced living below your means intentionally? Not because you had to, because you chose to. Have you tested your fear of less? Or does the thought alone disturb you? Poor habits survive in environments of constant abundance. When food is endless, discipline weakens. When entertainment is endless, focus dissolves. When credit is endless, spending accelerates. Rome expanded through constraint. The legions marched miles daily. Armor was heavy, training was brutal. Standards were unforgiving. Why? Because discipline compounds, comfort consumes. The injustice is this: you are told that convenience equals progress. But convenience without character equals fragility, and fragility is expensive. I examined my spending next. The Romans tracked resources with severity: grain stores, military rations, treasury reserves. They knew their numbers. I asked myself, do I know mine? Not approximately, precisely, every expense, every obligation, every liability. Poor habits hide in vagueness. Vagueness protects indulgence. Clarity destroys it. Let me ask you something sharp. If your income paused for 3 months, what would happen? Would you adjust, or would debt swallow you? Have you structured your life for resilience or for constant flow? The Roman elite built reserves, not just of coin, of capacity. They invested in land, in alliances, in reputation, and they understood something most modern earners ignore. Income is not wealth, position is wealth. If you lose income, can you generate it again? That is arete, excellence in capability. Not comfort in consumption. I began cutting unnecessary obligations, subscriptions, impulse purchases, convenient spending. At first it felt restrictive, then it felt empowering, because each reduction increased autonomy. Autonomy is wealth, dependency is hidden poverty. Tell me, how many of your monthly expenses are truly essential, and how many are simply normalized indulgences? Rome's elite avoided appearing soft. Public image mattered, but internal discipline mattered more. Marcus Aurelius ruled the empire and still wrote private reflections about controlling anger, resisting ego, maintaining humility. He did not assume wealth guaranteed virtue. He trained daily. Let me ask you directly. If your net worth doubled tomorrow, how would your discipline double, or would your indulgence? Wealth magnifies habits. If your habits are weak, wealth accelerates decay. If your habits are strong, wealth accelerates legacy. Poor habits did not survive my experiment because they could not withstand examination. Late-night scrolling died first. It could not survive early mornings. Impulse spending died next. It could not survive intentional accounting. Excuses died quietly. They could not survive voluntary discomfort. And comfort had been masking weakness. The Romans believed luxury should follow conquest, not precede it. Modern life reverses this. Luxury comes first. Conquest never arrives. Let me challenge you. Are you consuming rewards you have not earned? Are you living in comfort that your discipline cannot sustain? Because eventually reality corrects imbalance. Rome fell not because it lacked wealth. It fell because indulgence replaced structure. Bread and circuses replaced vigilance. Comfort replaced character. And erosion became irreversible. You are not Rome, but you are subject to the same laws. Discipline builds. Indulgence erodes. Erosion is patient. It waits. It does not announce itself. It simply weakens foundations quietly. I noticed my tolerance for boredom increased. Without constant stimulation, focus returned. Deep work became easier. Ideas matured, comfort fragments attention, discipline consolidates it. Tell me, how long can you sit without stimulation? 5 minutes? 10? Or does silence disturb you? Silence reveals dependency. Dependency reveals weakness. The Romans trained in silence, before battle, before decision. They understood that calm precedes power. Financial power is no different. It requires patience. Patience requires control. Control requires discomfort. The more convenient life becomes, the worse your financial future becomes, if convenience replaces discipline. Convenience is not evil, but it must be subordinate. Subordinate to structure. Subordinate to purpose. Subordinate to arete. Let me ask you something final and difficult. If someone observed your daily habits without hearing your ambitions, what future would they predict? Because habits forecast destiny more accurately than dreams. Rome built roads that still exist. Why? Because foundations were laid with precision. Your financial life requires roads, not wishes. Roads built through early rising, intentional spending, skill cultivation, emotional restraint, voluntary hardship. These are not glamorous. They do not photograph well, but they endure. I did not become Roman. I became aware of softness, aware of dependency, aware of wasted potential. And awareness is the beginning of discipline. Poor habits do not survive in the presence of structured resistance. But resistance must be chosen. No one will impose it for you. Modern society profits from your comfort. Rome profited from its discipline. Which system are you feeding? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The mountain is not impressed by your convenience. It yields only to those who climb. And the climb is never comfortable.